Hello everybody, good afternoon. It's a sunny day here in Madison. Welcome to day 36 of Irish Quarantine Tunes. I found out yesterday that the word quarantine comes from the Italian quaranta giorni, meaning 40 days. So in sometime this coming week, I've been doing this for 40 days. Quarantine, meaning 40 days. All right. I hope everybody's holding up and doing well. Couple things about today. I picked a couple really challenging tunes and a couple really sad songs. So I've been practicing all morning and breaking into tears. So I hope I can get through this show without doing that. But who knows? We'll just carry on. Second thing is that you might look at my playlist today and say, what's going on? You got an American song, you have an English song, and you have an English tune. What does that have to do with Ireland? Well, as we progress, you will find out. So I'm going to start out with a very famous old Irish reel that Michael Coleman used to play called Dr. Gilbert's. So. Dr. Gilbert's, an old Irish reel. Sprightly was the word I was using yesterday, and a few people kind of like that. Ireland's full of fairies and sprites, so they seem to be sprightly people. So, all right, I'm going to do a song next, and this song is more than 100 years old. It is a broadside ballad, and it was written by a fellow named William Delf in England. So in February of 1889, there was a horrific storm off the coast of England, and many people, men and boys that were out fishing lost their lives. And so in this song, with a little poetic license, the original song I think had 7 or 10 verses, and this version that we do now has an extra verse, which actually is chronologically wrong. It talks about October. The actual storm was in February of 1889. And a man from Grimsby, which is mentioned in the song, William Delf, wrote this song after the fact, after the storm, and published it and sold it as a fundraiser for the widows and families of all the people fishing that perished. So it's a great song. What does it have to do with Ireland? everybody in Ireland sings it and plays it. It's done by the Clancy brothers and the Dubliners and everyone. I learned it from the singing of Gordon Bach, and it's called 310. I should say I'm going to send this song out today to my brother Ben, who is a fishing captain up in Michigan, around the Traverse City area on Lake Michigan, and also in the inland rivers. So I wore a shirt that represents his company, Sportfish Michigan. Get out, get bit. So this is for my brother Ben, the fisherman. He knew he wanted to be a fisherman from the time he was about 2 or 3 years old. We have a photo with him, with my grandfather, with a fishing pole and a little tiny perch or bass or something from a long time ago. So here you go, Ben. Methinks I see a host of craft spreading their sails a-lee, as down the Humber they do glide, all bound for the northern sea. Methinks I see on each small craft a crew with hearts so brave, going out to earn their daily bread upon the restless wave. Here's the chorus. And it's 310 boys and men were lost from Grimsby town, from Yarmouth down to Scarborough, many hundreds more were drowned. Our herring craft, our trawlers, our fishing smacks as well, long day did fight that bitter night, their battle with the swell. Methinks I see them yet again as they leave this land behind, casting their nets into the sea, the herring shoals to find. Methinks I see them yet again, and they all on board all right, with their nets rolled up and their decks cleaned up and their sidelights burning bright. And it's 310 boys and men were lost from Grimsby town, from Yarmouth down to Scarborough, many hundreds more were drowned. Our herring craft, our trawlers, our fishing smacks as well, they long did fight that bitter night, their battle with the swell. Methinks I hear the captain say, me lads will shorten sail, for the sky to all appearances looks like an approaching gale. Methinks I see them yet again, at the midnight hour is past, their little craft a-battling there, oh, with the icy blast. And it's 310 boys and men were lost from Grimsby town, from Yarmouth down to Scarborough, many hundreds more were drowned. Our herring craft, our trawlers, our fishing smacks as well, they long did fight that bitter night, their battle with the swell. October's night brought such a sight 'twas never seen before. There were masts and yards and broken spars come a-driving into shore. There was many a heart in sorrow, many a heart so brave, There was many a fine and a hearty lad to find a watery grave, and it's 70 boys and men were lost from Grimsby town. From Yarmouth down to Scarborough, hundreds more were drowned. Our herring craft, our trawlers, our fishing smacks as well, they long did fight that bitter night, their battle with the swell. All right, a great broadside written by a fisherman from Grimsby in England after the tragedy of 1889 there. So I was going to wear this, but it's way too warm. So I think most of you probably know what this is. You know, typically it would be in a kind of eggshell white color, but it's what the Clancy brothers wore to all their shows. It's an Aran sweater, A-R-A-N, from the Aran Islands off the coast of Galway. And this one is not a unique one. It was machine made, I think. I bought it way back in, I think, 1983 or maybe 87 in Spittal, just outside of the city of Galway. And my friend Ellie from the Solidary Sing-Along repaired it for me because, you know, it's been through a lot of wear and tear over the last 30-some years. So, but what is special about Aran sweaters, some of you may know, is that the tradition was to use this cable knit and to weave a pattern into the sweater that the fishermen would wear. And the pattern was particular to that family and that individual. Why? Because they wore these sweaters that were made of wool and of course stayed warm when they were wet. But the tragic part of it is that when there was a tragedy, when there was a storm, when there was drowning, many times the bodies wouldn't wash up until a long time later, and they would be unrecognizable. And they didn't have CSI and forensic evidence, and so they would look, the women would come down in the morning to the beach. This is where I'm going to cry. And they would go to look and see if it was their son or their husband who had died. So, when I was in Ireland, I heard a lot of stories. I met a lot of people, and I played a lot of music. People were very friendly, very talkative. They always had a story or a joke for you or a song, and they always asked me, to do the same thing. If I walked into a bar with my fiddle, the first thing I'd hear was, "Give us a tune," which means play something. So one thing that I learned when I was on the Aran Islands and out in Galway was that nobody on the west coast of Ireland learns to swim. And I was curious about that because they're on the coast. There's the ocean. Well, the reason that I was told is that the North Atlantic is very cold. You cannot survive in it for more than a few minutes. So I was told by the fisher people there that they don't learn to swim because when you fall off the boat in the middle of the night and you're about to drown, if you know how to swim, you're only going to suffer longer. I don't know where this quote came from, but I'd love to know. I think one of Ireland's great writers said it. It could have been O'Casey or Yeats or I don't know who. They said the Irish are close to life because they're close to death. All right, I'm going to do something a little more cheery, and hopefully I'll stop crying. I'm going to do a couple jigs. The first one is called The Mist-Covered Mountain, or sometimes Mist on the Mountain, written by the great fiddler Junior Crehan. And the second jig is called The Castle Jig, or Sean Ryan's, and it was written by another fiddler, the late, great Sean Ryan. So here you go with a couple of jigs. Because, you know, you can always dance. Oh, a couple of very old, not very old. These both have composers, so we know the fiddle players who wrote them. I think they both come from mid 20th century, maybe around the 1950s. The first one by Junior Crehan, The Mist-Covered Mountain, and then the second one by Sean Ryan, The Castle Jig, a couple great Irish fiddlers that fortunately we have pictures of, we have recordings of, and people have memories of, so awesome stuff. All right, next I'm going to do a song. So this song is not Irish, it's American. Yet, people all over Ireland will tell you, oh, me grandfather played this song, or my neighbor down the road, like I've heard it since I was a wee baby. You know, it's an ancient Irish song. It's, you know, been played a million times everywhere. The truth of the matter is that that's the folk process. This song was written in 1974 by a Jewish musician and labor organizer, the great Kahn. He's still alive, from North Carolina, and he put it on his album New Wood, which is a fantastic album. I used to own it on vinyl. Yet it just has this timeless quality to it, and it tells a story that is timeless as well, which is about a factory or a mill closing down and the town going into depression, and that has unfortunately happened over and over again all around the world in our post-industrial society. That is, many people have suffered, and it makes me want to give a shout out to everybody right now that's unemployed or dealing with the pandemic, which has only exacerbated the inequalities and the terrible capitalist system that we supposedly have, that is being propped up by trillions of dollars in government subsidies to the banks and Wall Street. So here's Aragon Mill for all you working folks out there who toil to earn a living rather than to you investor class. So, all right. So if I remember right, the Thistle and Shamrock, the great radio show that was maybe still is on public radio for many years, maybe at least 30 years, hosted by the great Fiona Ritchie. One of the reasons that I named my daughter Fiona. And I love her Scottish accent. Fiona Ritchie, this is the Thistle and Shamrock, whatever. But she did an entire episode on Aragon Mill because it's so popular in Ireland and so many people are convinced that it's an old Irish song. So I hope you sing along. It has a very easy chorus. And here we go. Kahn, Aragon Mill. Town, at the foot of the hill, stands a chimney so tall that says Aragon Mill. But there's no smoke at all coming out of the stack. The mill has shut down and it ain't a coming back. Tune I hear is the sound of the wind as it blows through the town. Weave and spin, weave and spin. Well, I'm too old to work, but I'm too young to die. Tell me, where shall I go, my old gal and I? Tune I hear is the sound of the wind as it blows through the town. Weave and spin, weave and spin. There's no children at all in the narrow empty streets. The mill has shut down, it's so quiet I can't sleep. Tune I hear is the sound of the wind as it blows through the town. Weave and spin, weave and spin. Yes, the mill has shut down, it's the only life I know. Tell me, where will I go? Tell me, where will I go? And the only tune I hear is the sound of the wind as it blows through the town. Weave and spin, weave and spin. And the only tune I hear is the sound of the wind as it blows through the town. Weave and spin, weave and spin. The great song by Kahn, Aragon Mill. I'm lucky to have gotten to see Kahn many times in concert back in Ann Arbor when I volunteered at the Ark. Often he would perform with John McCutcheon, Wisconsin native from Wausau, and also some other great musicians. I think sometimes maybe with Pete Sutherland, a great fiddler. So Kahn wrote a lot of wonderful, awesome songs, so look him up. Let's see here. Getting near the end of the show. It's probably kind of gone on a little long, but whatever. It's Sunday, you know. We got no place to go, right? So, unfortunately, I got the news today that my niece Ashley, my wife Sandy's brother's daughter, lost her mom, and it's making me think about her. Ashley loves to watch this show. She loves Irish music. She used to come down to the Brokaw, and so I found this. Ashley helped make this for Sandy, and as many of you know, Sandy is a carpenter. So since it's Aunt Sandy, she's a carpenter aunt. Get it? So this is for. I'm gonna dedicate this next song to Ashley. And also to Sandy, because she really loves it. This is a song that the Penguin Cafe Orchestra did. And she, when we got together, I believe she had this CD and we used to play it a lot. Why am I doing a song by, it was written by a fellow named Simon Jeffis, who's from England, and founded the Penguin Cafe Orchestra, and they became world famous. Unfortunately, he died many years ago of a brain tumor at the age of 48, and that was the end of Penguin Cafe. But since that time, for some reason, many Irish musicians have taken up this song and learned it and recorded it, and it's very popular in the Irish traditional music community, even though it's a modern kind of classical piece, but it's played as a reel. It's called Music for a Found Harmonium. It's been a long time since I played it, so I really had to kind of brush up my chops, and I hope I can get through it. But what I want to say about it is that this morning when I posted that I was going to do it, and I posted a picture of a harmonium, I was really pleased to see that Kathy Laska posted that she had been to Ireland many years ago to visit a relative in Galway who played a harmonium, and that he played it and she recorded him, and then she played it back and he danced, and I just love that story. So think about that as you listen to this song, Music for a Found Harmonium, from the Penguin Cafe Orchestra, written by Simon Jeffis and popular among Irish musicians. Rusty there, sorry. Music for a Found Harmonium. All right, I hope everybody's doing great. I'll see you all tomorrow on Monday for day 37 Gonna keep this up through the quarantine, hopefully as long as I can. And wow, hope everybody's doing well, and be good to each other and enjoy the sunshine, and sending you out love and music and community. So take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.